If you notice your partner's friends have red flags, how do you navigate that scenario without hurting your partner? This is a good question.
And we have agreed that this means if your partner's friends are people that are giving red flags to you, like, oh my God, their friend is a fuck boy.
Right. Yeah. Like red flags are coming up.
Yeah.
Basically, it sounds like what she's saying. If you don't like your partner's friends, how do you tell them that, you don't want to spend a lot of time with them without hurting them?
Yeah.
Which is a great question.
I think it's a great question. And so let's make some assumptions like we always have to do with these relationship questions. We're going to assume that their friends are shitty. Okay.
Like that she's not just making this up out of thin air.
Yeah. We've got, like, for instance, we just finished watching the show Nobody Wants This, which is such a good show. We've already talked about it on previous episodes, but I think that, and I'm forgetting the names of these characters already, but Kristen Bell's sister sucked.
Morgan.
She sucked.
She did suck.
And
she had some like redeeming qualities.
They kept some redeeming qualities in there.
So you didn't absolutely hate her?
And family is kind of off the table because you can just, you can't tell your partner to, you know, completely cut off from their family unless it's an extremely toxic situation. But even like friends that they've had for a while, and they're low vibe. Yeah. In this relationship, you want to be higher levels of consciousness. You want to grow with this person. Yeah. You want to create a better life for yourselves together. And they've got these Klingon friends that are just dragging this person down. I think you, after an appropriate amount of time, like maybe not date 2, but you've seen these friends in enough circumstances to see consistent traits, consistent threads of the way that they behave, and it is shitty and it's selfish, and maybe they don't want what's best. Oftentimes with friends that get into relationships that's actually taking them to new stratospheres of behavior and emotional intelligence and happiness, those friends want to pull them down, like come back to the bullshit that we're a part of. Yeah,
especially if dude guy hasn't been, maybe he's been single for a long time and he gets a girlfriend, and his friends are like, WTF, guy, we still want to go out to the club. Right. Like, you're coming with us, and no, you don't bring your girlfriend, kind of thing. Like, that happens for sure.
And so I think it's totally justified and appropriate to just sit down and, again, as always with conversations that are challenging, set a container. Yeah. Which means just establish your intention for the conversation, which is like, hey, I have something really important that I want to share with you. I want to make sure you're in a headspace to be able to like totally focus on the topic at hand, be able to receive what I have to say, but also like I'm really interested in hearing from you from a genuine spot how you feel about the things that I'm about to say. Not just like a flippant response like your friend's an asshole, because then you're going to get his same level of depth in response, which will be shallow. Yeah. And so setting that container with also,
and I think asking, when would a good time be for you?
Yeah. Yeah. All the go-to, like how to set up deep conversation criteria. But also layering in like, the reason I want this is because I'm really digging this relationship. Like I really care about us and where this is going. And so this is why it's important to me, because my friends are important to me. And I know it's important for you to have, a close circle as well. But here's what I'm experiencing. Please correct me if I'm misinterpreting, but here is what, your friend Tommy is making me feel like when we're together or when we're around them. How do you feel about that, et cetera? I don't think you have to come out with like, no more hanging out with them. You don't have to set those rules unless it was to get to the point where it's like violating something in the relationship. Like, let's say fuckboy Tommy invites dude guy boyfriend to a party, and there's drugs and there's a bunch of hot chicks there, and like maybe that violates what you've deemed to be kind of a reasonable recreational activity for a committed partner to participate in. And then that's where you can be like, listen, if I'm going to be in a relationship with you that's committed, that's a non-negotiable for me. There's no fuckboying around. Even if you're not cheating on me, it's just, I'm just not comfortable with it. You have every right to do that, but don't come out of the gate with that if it's never happened. Right. Don't get into the hypotheticals that are completely irrelevant. the more balanced you are, the more respect you will garner from your significant other. And if they don't respect that, all that container setting, it's still good information. It might feel like shit, but if they give you heat in response or gaslight you for what you're experiencing and tell you you're crazy and whatever, that's good evidence too.
Yeah. I think, using the same situation, the hypothetical situation that we have to kind of make up here. If dude guy's friends are pressuring him to be in situations where she's not comfortable with them, we're just using that hypothetical situation. She could start out, do all the container thing that you said. She could start out by saying like, talking about her own experience, not putting it directly on him right away, but just saying like, I was just noticing in myself, like when your friends or when your friend Tommy pressures you to go out to the club or go to a strip club or go to a house party that I can tell like you don't really want to go to, but you're friends with them, so you say yes or whatever. I can feel in myself like that it worries me. And I can feel myself like kind of pulling away from the relationship a little bit because I don't necessarily like want to get hurt. And that kind of environment is not something that I want in my life. Yeah. And so I can feel myself like kind of pulling away. And I don't like that because I really, like you, or maybe I love you, in this situation. Like I really love you. And I don't want to pull away, in this situation. Like, how do you feel? And make sure you're asking him questions, not accusing, because he could be thinking like a lot of the same things, but they've been buddies since college for 15 years or something. And it's hard to let go of those relationships sometimes. So make sure you're continuing to ask him questions like, what do you like about your friend Tommy? Like what draws you to him? And if it's like, well, we've been friends since college, and it's like, that's the only thing. Right. Like, okay, just like gather information, start the conversation. It's not like you have to fix it on night one of having a conversation. Sure. I think opening the door, letting him know how you feel, that it affects you in a certain way, and then being not accusatory, and just continuing to ask questions about his experience with his friends, is a really good way to open it up. And then how that unfolds will dictate how you handle the rest of the conversations. Yeah. But, we can't continue to hypotheticalize forever. But I think that's a good start.
Great question.
Yeah. If you guys, and again, like all of this is on YouTube. These questions are from our listeners. If you guys listening have completely different thoughts, or we missed something completely, we want to hear from you guys. Like leave a comment. If you have other good ideas for this person who asked the question, let us know on YouTube. We love hearing from you guys.
Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed that, check out right over here for some more fun clips.
Oh, and you're going to want to subscribe.
Bye.